Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever it is that you're choosing to watch. Thanks for tuning in to another episode, Life Lessons, and we're on the bike again. And man, what a gorgeous, beautiful day it is outside. Man, literally not a cloud in the sky. Just absolutely gorgeous. Here it is, the 1st of October, and out riding a bike, I just couldn't resist it anymore. You've noticed, I'm sure you have, you've noticed that the leaves on the trees are starting to change, and I know at least in our area here it's really dry, but you can just kind of feel it in the air. Leaves are dropping, grass is turning, seasons are changing. It won't be long. Unfortunately, of course, I guess, however you're looking at it, it won't be long till the snow will start flying. But seasons are changing, and that's what I want to talk to you about this week. Is the going through seasons and the principles, looking at transitions. Right now, we're in a transition going from summer to fall. Although, given today, you wouldn't think it. When I left the house this morning, it was like in the upper 70s. I think it's supposed to be in the mid 80s today. Really, for this time of year, it's a little unusually warm, but I'm sure that's going to change. But I want to talk to you about transitions and changing seasons and those kinds of things today. Looking at Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, Solomon says, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." A time for every purpose under heaven. To everything. Notice he doesn't say, some things. He's talking about in general, there are changing seasons that you and I go through. And I want to talk real quick about some of those seasons that we go through and how to approach them. So I want to give you some principles today of whatever season you're going through. You hear a lot of people talk about, well, I'm going through such and such a season. Well, what in the world do we mean by that? Okay, what does Solomon mean when he says that to everything there's a season and a time for every purpose under heaven? Well, number one, I want you to think about the fact that we all go through seasons. All of us go through seasons. It doesn't matter what, where you live in the United States, or for that matter, the world, I guess. But it doesn't matter where, you're going to go through seasons. I was seeing some pictures, some from friends that we have that are traveling out west. And, there was a part, they were in the Rocky Mountains, and there was a part of the Rocky Mountains they were in where the temperature, this was just like day before yesterday, I think, it was 42 degrees, okay? Seasons change really fast out west. They're shorter. But wherever you're at, all of us go through seasons. All of us do. No one is immune to that. All of us experience spring. All of us experience summer, fall, and winter. All of us do. Okay? So, there's no matter, you walk up to somebody in Walmart, okay? Just think about how many people you'll see this weekend in Walmart. Every person there is going through some kind of season. If you attend church, you walk into church this Sunday, everybody in that congregation is going through a season. So all of us are going through it, okay? You're not alone. You're not isolated by yourself. It may be springtime for someone, but then again, it may be fall for someone else. But all of us go through seasons. Number two, I want you to remember that all seasons have a purpose. What do you think about that? All seasons have a purpose. As much as I hate winter, and that's a well-known fact, as much as I hate winter, winter has a purpose. Okay, the snow that comes down in the wintertime puts nitrogen back in the ground and kind of replenishes the moisture and gets it ready for spring. You may have noticed that if we have a relatively dry winter where there's not much snow, spring tends to be maybe a little bit later. So all seasons have a purpose. Springtime, is you till up a garden and you get it ready for planting, and you plant it, and then in the summertime, you reap the benefits of that planting. Sometimes in the fall, you reap the benefits of the planting. All seasons have a purpose. Now, whatever season you're going through, whatever it is, I want you to understand it has a purpose. There is a reason behind it. I have this saying, nothing happens by accident. And the seasons that you and I go through, the seasons that you and I experience, they all have a purpose. It may be to strengthen our faith. It may be to repair relationships. It may be to prioritize things in our life. It may be to renew our relationship or have a closer relationship with God. Whatever the purpose is, what you and I need to do, instead of complaining about the season, look for the purpose in the season. Number 3, I want you to understand that if you don't fulfill the purpose of the season that you're in, then it's going to cause problems for the upcoming season. So, here we are in the fall, and a lot of people who heat with wood in the wintertime, man, they're gathering in the wood. You see it all over the place. Here chainsaws in the woods. Weather's a little cooler. It's not like 100 degrees. And so, guys are out in the woods and they're gathering wood, they're splitting wood, they're getting ready for winter. I know in our home, we're starting already to think about the winter time and, how to keep pipes from freezing and all that kind of stuff. Cutting the grass, one final time in order to get it ready for next spring and to receive the snow during the winter. So if you don't get ready for, like now, if you don't get ready for winter, then you're going to be way behind. Okay, you'll see in the wintertime, you'll see people. It's kind of humorous in a way, but you'll see people. Whenever they're predicting, a lot of snow coming in, man, there'll be a big run on snow shovels. Well, why wasn't that taken care of back in the fall? Or there'll be a run on salt. Well, why wasn't that taken care of in the early winter? So if you don't prepare for an upcoming season, while you're currently in a season, then it's going to cause problems for the other season coming up. I've shared with you a number of times that I just love cutting grass. That's, besides riding this motorcycle, that's the other thing I just absolutely love to do is cut grass. Well, if I don't get my lawnmower ready, for the spring and summer, if I don't get it ready early, in March, early April, then I'm going to be hurting when it comes time to cut grass. The blades aren't going to be sharpened, the oil isn't going to be changed. There's going to be something go wrong just when I need that lawnmower to function. Some traffic here, so I'm going to wait just a minute. Wow, this is a busy road this morning. Wonder if something's going on. So right now, I'm starting to think about preparing for winter, and I just dread it. Now, there's a lesson here. If you put off things, okay, if you just say, well, I'll get to that tomorrow, right? I'm sure you said that before about something. Well, I'll just get that tomorrow. The scarlet, what I call the Scarlett O'Hara syndrome. I'll think about that tomorrow. Then what happens is you get to another season, and then you're not ready for that season, right? So your relationship with God isn't what it ought to be. Your prayer life isn't what it ought to be. Your church attendance isn't what it ought to be. And then a crisis comes, and then you're scrambling around to try to make up for lost time. Okay? So if you don't fulfill the purpose of the season that you're currently in, then it's going to cause problems for seasons coming up. Number 4, and I've already kind of alluded to this, but I want to say it specifically. Preparation is the key to have a successful season. Preparation is the key to having a successful season. I've just got to get prepared. It's almost like I teach some courses at East Central College in Union, and one of the things that I've told the students, we've just come through midterm exams, and one of the things that I tell my students is, you've got to be preparing along the way. You can't do it like an all-nighter the night before and expect to do well on the exam. Well, the same thing applies to the seasons of life. Preparation is the key to having a successful season. So if I'm trusting God throughout, okay, before a crisis happens, before I go through a rough season, now I can enjoy summer, barbecuing and all the cutting grass and seeing the sights and enjoying being outside. But if in the meantime I'm not preparing for the fall and the winter to come, I'm going to be in trouble. Now, I will admit to you that practically I've done that before. I've waited till December to try to get ready for winter, and by that time it's too late, right? And then I pay the consequences for it. Well, same thing applies. If you're not prepared, if your relationship, it's kind of like communicating with your spouse or family member along the way. The chances are better that when a conflict arises, the communication is going to be better, right? But if you're not talking along the way, then whenever conflict arises or hard times come, it's going to be harder, right? It's called resilience, right? So preparation is the key. Number 5, we can bear fruit even if we don't cultivate and plant land in the season. All right, let me say that again. We can bear fruit even if we don't plant, even if we don't cultivate. Even if we don't cultivate and plant, we can. Now, is it going to be a bumper crop? No. I can plant green beans and lettuce and all that kind of stuff. But if I just kind of take care of it, it's not going to bear much. It's going to bear something, probably a bunch of weeds, but we can bear fruit even if we don't cultivate, right? Even if we don't pay much attention to it, it's not going to be as fruitful as it could be. It's not going to be as productive as it could have been, but there'll be something there. And number 6, I'll end with this. Number 6, if we want to bear abundant fruit, as opposed to what I just talked about, it's more than just sitting around and waiting for the crop to come up. Okay? If we want an abundant, see, Jesus said, "I come to give you life and abundance of life." if we want to have a really productive crop, if you will, whatever that crop is, we've got to take care of it. If we want an abundant crop, it's just common sense, right? It makes sense that we've got it. It's more than just sitting around in the easy chair and hoping that crop will. I got to go out and I got to weed it. I've got to fertilize it if it's necessary. Sometimes I got to trim it back. It's kind of like what I do. Okay, so I've shared before. Val and I we don't raise a garden. We just don't. We raise weeds. We don't raise a garden. So, but the thing that I can liken it to is, okay, my grass needs cut. Now I can sit in my recliner and watch TV and watch TV and watch TV and say, my grass needs cut. And I can say that all day long. I can say that all week long. And say, but I don't want to cut grass. I don't want to. Well, eventually that's going to grow up to be, eyeball high. And then you got bigger problems. So if we want to bear abundant fruit, if we want to bear abundant crop, if we want an abundant life, then it involves more than just sitting and waiting on something to happen. Okay? I see this phrase a lot online, and it's one of those bumper sticker sayings, let go and let God. Okay? And I get the sentiment of that. I get it. And it's talking about faith and trust and all that kind of. I get that. But the implication there is that I should just sit back and just like God. Nothing in Scripture teaches that. Nothing in Scripture teaches that. James says faith without works is dead, being alone. And he's not talking about salvation faith, but he's talking about if you believe in something, you believe in God, you believe God for something, then there's a certain amount of effort you got to put forth. Okay, it's not a matter of just sitting back and waiting for something to happen. All right, so I want you to think about those. I know it's a lengthy list. Think about those 6 things when you're thinking about whatever season you're going through. Okay, there's a purpose to it. All of us go through seasons. Think about the purpose of the season that you're in order to get you prepared for the next one. Preparation is the key. You can bear some fruit without cultivating, but if you want to have an abundant kind of life, if you want to have a great kind of life, a blessed life, then it involves more than just sitting and waiting for things to happen. Okay? Listen, I want to thank you for tuning in today. Thanks for riding along with me on this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous day. And I hope this has meant something to you. Whatever season you're going through, remember these 6 principles, and it'll help you a great deal. God bless you. Thanks for riding along.